One former player said it was psychological warfare. When asked about Kidd, players would often say, you want on the record or off? He was loved, he was hated. His coaching style was described as follows by former teammates: Jedi mind tricks, mind blanks, Machiavellian. He kind of relished that combativeness in people. But then people would say he's a natural winner. Competitive mother blanker, from someone who played with Jason on the Knicks. He would just brutalize people. There's plenty of teammates I had that didn't like him, not even as a coach, like as a person didn't like him. He'd pit people against each other. I was trying to figure out like the strategy in pitting people against each other, you know, how that is going to be productive or beneficial for everyone.
Well, make them hate you.
Yeah, but he pit people against each other.
Yeah, I know. Like, you know, constantly do that, and eventually maybe they will learn to love each other and hate you. You're the enemy. I don't know. Like, I do wonder. Like, do Jedi mind tricks work on today's NBA player?
Right.
Like, how is Luka gonna react to, you know, being constantly toyed with mentally?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, it sounds a lot like what a lot of Rick did. You know, Rick was a psychology type guy.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder about that. You know, now maybe he may have more respect for Jason Kidd because Kidd was a former player that he saw play.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This sounds odd.
Johnny O'Bryant played on the Bucks for 3 years, said, I think Jason may have had rocky relationships with a lot of the players, but he laid the tradition of a winning team. Sometimes the way he went about it, just straightforward, he was just an a-hole. But I think it paid off in the long run. Nicholas Turner was an assistant for Kidd. I'd never call Jason an a-hole, but he was a player too, so he has an ego. There's definitely some things that people misunderstood about Jay Kidd. Ultimately, he wants to win. He has good intentions. And then Jason Terry said he's like a professor. Instead of telling you what to do, he engages you, empowers you by asking, what do you see? Buck's trainer said Jason has a brilliant mind, but he kind of made you uncomfortable around him. Greg Foster, Buck's assistant coach, now with the Pacers. When players go through it and it's uncomfortable, they like to say he's playing mind games with me, but it's not that. He's trying to get you to do something you wouldn't normally do. That's coaching. So there's a lot of people. I mean, everyone agrees that Jason can be cold. He's going to make you uncomfortable, but that he's a basketball genius. These are some of the three big takeaways from this.
Autoflex Leasing fan text, 877-811-1053. KP's going to break down more now. Who says he'll use the same style here? Coaches learn, players learn.
Yep.
These are all weird justifications for treating people poorly. This sounds a lot like Phil. I remember hearing Jason Kidd broke Darren Williams. You think Luka will be accepted of this style? He complains, pouts, and seems spoiled. Mind tricks won't work.
Wow. Okay, those are all very interesting fan texts. Quote, I don't want to sound negative, but Jason would embarrass you. He had his way of getting his point across. So at one point, Thon Maker did not have an iPhone. This is a little weird. So he was messing up the Blue Bubble iPhone group chat.
Oh, so I can relate to that.
Yeah, it's like RJ and a Samsung. Kid was.
I relish that, by the way. I love when people complain that I don't have the iPhone and I script the group chat. And you know what I say to them? Find a different friend. And they never do.
And they do all the time.
They never do.
Kid was upset that he didn't have the iPhone and made the team run because he felt Maker not getting an iPhone was an example of the team not being united. And then he would embarrass you. If you screwed up in a drill, everyone else has to run. You know, well, you have to sit there and stand there and feel embarrassed. But then there's a side of, you know, him giving confidence, raising their level of play. Jason jumping in the drills. He hated it when players were not on time or when he had to go over something again. See, here's the issue with the great elite Hall of Fame player not being able to relate. He was a perfectionist and thought players should get it right the first time. He had this look, this death stare that was piercing.
I love one of the lines in here where he says he would hop in, grab the ball, do the drill himself, say, guys, this isn't hard.
Yeah.
and that's got to be this is an old man now, retired player. Guys, this isn't blanking hard. Well, and again, that goes back to the point of the great elite mind, the great elite player. For some people, it is hard. For some people, shooting the basketball comes relatively easy.
Right.
And for others, it doesn't. And for some people, it is hard. And, not all point guards are created equal and made the same. Some have better court vision. Some have better handles.
Yep.
Some have better jump shots. Some are taller. It is hard for some people to do certain things.
This is a book excerpt from Giannis's journey, focusing on Jason Kidd. Kidd poured hours into helping Giannis, but was less sympathetic with other players. Quote, I don't think he could identify with the average player. There's a reason Hall of Famers are Hall of Famers, especially point guards. You see things that no one else does. I think he just takes it out on players and verbally goes at them. Just make them feel like that they couldn't be as good as Jason Kidd, who could step on the floor and do his fancy thing. So, what are you worried?
No, I'm not worried. I mean, again, like the fan text said, people change.
Yeah.
You adapt, you learn.
And he said he needed to go to L.A. to be an assistant.
Yeah, you learn.
You watch another head coach versus just being thrown into it after you were a alpha male player.
Right, because, everybody just lines up to learn from Frank Vogel. No, I'm not worried. We'll see how this plays out. If he doesn't change, if he is the same thing. I don't think these mind tricks are going to work on Luka. Luka is, and I don't want to say he's a spoiled little brat, but there's a spoiled little brat in him. That's what happens when you've been the best player in the world since you were 12 years old. It's not a problem. It's not a bad thing. It's just the way it is. Luka's been the best player in the league that he's been around since he was 12 years old. And he doesn't want to get mind tricked. He just doesn't. He's not going to put up with it. We've seen that already. He will sulk. He will go back at you. We've seen that with Rick. So, yeah, I don't know if it's going to work on.